So fans of the show will remember our Doctor Who coverage, and a couple of the episodes were directed by a woman named Amanda Bracci, who is incredible. She's an Australian director, and her episodes looked great. The acting was wonderful. But she died recently of a terminal illness, and so I just wanted to celebrate her work. Go look up her various projects. She did a show called Lowdown that I hear is pretty good. So yeah, check her out. And the episodes she did were Lux and The Well from season 2 of Doctor Who on Disney. The other person is Rob Reiner, who directed some of my favorite films, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, and more. And he was killed recently, he and his wife. So my heart goes out to them. And I rewatched both films, and they still are as good as ever. So if you haven't seen Stand By Me or The Princess Bride, check it out. You're listening to The Great and Secret Knowledge. I'm your host, Jeff, and with me, one of the best, it's Sofia, all the way from Sweden. What's going on?
Tjenare.
Indeed. Well, here we are once again at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 2, Where Silence Has Lease. What did you think about this episode overall?
I thought it was okay, to be honest. Like I didn't like it at the start, but then it was interesting in the end part, I guess the second half. But I thought it was like maybe too slow to get to it.
Yeah, this is a weird one. Once again, it's like multiple episodes squeezed into one. And then just some weirdly long takes. So we get less of other stuff that seems more important to the overall themes. 10 pounds a show and a 5-pound bag. Or maybe more like 8 pounds a show. I don't know. It's a weird middle space. I liked a lot of the stuff, but some of it just grinds to a halt. And you're like, but is something going to happen? And then something happens and you're like, oh, that's too much something. Are we ever going to reckon with this?
It's like, yeah, you're right, it's like moving at this kind of slow speed, and then it's just like racing ahead, and you're like, Yeah, but also
go ahead.
No, just also that maybe there was not enough of a B plot. Like if they could have made some kind of, I guess there was a little bit about Worf, like if that could have been expanded, I think that could have been more interesting to have a bit of a, because now it feels kind of slow when there's nothing else going on. They're just exploring this space.
Right. They wanted to do a horror movie. They got a lot of those beats in. But to do a Worf, what is his character? How dangerous is he? Like, will he defy orders? Like all that stuff could be its own episode. And they didn't mesh perfectly. And then there was all this other crap on the bridge that was kind of dull. So, yeah. Let's get into it. I guess I should look up who directed this. Where Silence Has Lease. So the director is Winwich Colby, or Kolb. They're from Amsterdam. directed as late as 2003. Did 18 episodes of Star Trek Voyager, 13 of Deep Space Nine. So apparently this guy was good enough to bring back, had a very long television career, starting with the Hardy Boys' Nancy Drew Mysteries in 1977.
I did notice the direction in some scenes. I thought it was interesting. There's like this shot of Riker's hands. I think that was
and he was tapping like he was nervous. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and you switch from Picard's face to Riker's hands, so there was, it was a nice juxtaposition.
Okay, this is crazy. The writer of this wrote Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, widely agreed to be the greatest Star Trek film. Unless you are a Star Trek 4 person like myself, the one with the whales, or Star Trek 6, where they have peace talks with the Klingons, which is also very good.
Yeah, I've heard that one is popular, the two.
Yeah, but Wrath of Khan, very well written. And similar to this episode, it has a lot of quiet moments. But this episode, I had a really hard time finding memorable quotes. So clearly they're not all heavy hitters like The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't that interesting. I think that I had something about them. I guess we'll get to that, but I think I had something about some kind of data discussion. I will see where I put it.
Yeah. Let me know.
It was like, it was when Data was like, in science, the most valuable question is, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some moments in there where I was like, oh, this is that trope of, as you know, Captain, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're all just telling each other stuff that surely they would have heard. Like that stuff about here there be dragons. Like, what sailor wouldn't hear somebody saying that story and be like, this again? Captain's on his here be dragons bullshit again.
I don't know. I think that maybe I could defend it. Maybe for them it's like so far back in the past. So maybe they have their own legends and stuff. Like
Gotcha.
Worf had with the, ghost black hole thing, Klingon legend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. It becomes maybe a little bit like too obvious to just be like, oh, do you know that people would be afraid to sail out in the edges of the map?
So yeah, this was the second to last thing Sowards, Jack B. Sowards or Sowards wrote. So we're looking at like a really old dude from the 60s. Like he wrote a bunch of episodes of Bonanza, or I guess he was
Bonanza?
A story editor. Bonanza was a seminal Western.
Mm-hmm.
It was on for years. It was, it was very, very well known. It was around, I think it went 4 or 5 seasons, and he story edited for 17.
Bonanza sounds like a children's show. Like, do you have the bananas in pajamas?
I've never seen it, but it sounds familiar. Bananas in pajamas. Oh my God. Are they people in banana suits, or is it a cartoon? Oh my God.
I think that they're people.
Goodness. That looks exciting. It's an Australian children's television series.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So anyway, yeah, this does have a original series vibe to it. Like there's a little bit of 60s in this one, which makes sense given the writer's age. So we begin. Let's see. There's this really weird Picard take right off the top. He comes out of his ready room, and then he looks around the bridge a little bit, starts to go back into his office, and then he's like, why did I come out here? You know, and then he wanders around the bridge. Very strange. Troy looks worried.
Yeah, I do like when we first started, I liked the way that they started. It felt like they were just, what do you call it, like in media res. But then there was not really any kind of res, you know, so then I was like, okay.
Right. Why don't we start with Worf and Riker?
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell's going on? Where are they? And then it turns out they're in a holodeck program.
Yeah.
But Picard just acting strange because his first officer is in danger or something. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's so dishonest, because if you were starting in the holodeck, then we would know, oh yeah, this is probably a holodeck. But then when you start with Picard being all worried, then it's almost like they're trying to pretend that it's not. And I don't know what we're supposed to think that it was.
Yeah, this episode has trouble giving us stakes. You know, like Picard should know there are safety rules on the holodeck. And so what is he concerned about? Like Riker's emotional well-being?
Yeah,
like nobody should see a Klingon fight. It's too disgusting. Like what?
Yeah, maybe he's like it's inappropriate or something. It's like some kind of
he
taboo.
Says, I think it is perhaps best to be ignorant of some elements of Klingon psyche.
Yeah, that was weird.
So we watch Riker and Worf fight some goons. And this is an iconic moment in The Next Generation. But when you go back to see it, it's so baffling in context. Because, yeah, it really is just two guys in masks. We don't know what planet this is supposed to be. We don't know why they're fighting. Yeah, it's very odd. And then near the end, Worf can't seem to calm down until Riker like goes, "At ease, Lieutenant," or something to that effect. And it's very awkward, and it looks like Worf is going to swing an axe at him. And then they never discuss it again.
Yeah. And then Worf says that usually his exercise is more intense. So that was funny, at least.
Right, yeah. So I guess that's probably the most interesting quote. Usually my calisthenics are more intense. But those sessions are too personal to be shared. Which sounds like he's fucking them.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's bad. Like, is he eating them? Is he flaying their skin? Like, how bad is it, Worf?
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. You know, it's much more fun to have the implied weirdness than to actually show anything.
Oh, man. So up on the bridge, we find out we're headed to the Morgana quadrant, but they deviate to check out this hole in space that appears and disappears and appears in a different place. So before we go any further, I have to say that description sounds as if like a being is poking a hole, peeking through, poking in a different area. Like, they don't say how far apart these areas are. There's a lot of like, they don't say stuff here, which sometimes is good for storytelling, but other times is like, give me some fucking guidelines here. How far apart are these things?
I wonder also, do you think that this hole, when it appears, does it take away the matter? Like, or is it something that is existing in front of this other matter?
I think that's why Wesley says, hey, why don't we get closer, right? Because then you could sort of look behind the thing, or like from a different angle, and use the difference between the front and the back to get a sense how thick it is, or yeah, is it dissolving the base radiation, or is it blocking it?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's interesting if the hole has some kind of dimension, then where does all the material that it displaces go? But again, maybe
Right.
the hole is just like more of a wormhole kind of thing.
And it doesn't move exactly. Like once they get into sensor range, it just sits there as far as we know. And then suddenly they're enveloped in it. So we don't know if they've been sucked in or if it's grown or if it's moved.
Yeah.
So that works in terms of like keeping us off balance and spooked.
Yeah. But it's hard. The whole concept is that this thing has no visibility, or like, there is nothing. And that's kind of difficult to make interesting. They even cheat, they show this kind of visuals, but really if it doesn't have anything,
Right.
it should just be blackness.
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder if that would be more interesting.
That's how they do it in Voyager when they bring back this kind of event. It's not the same entity, but this sort of thing. And yeah, a lot of it involves you watching the characters' faces to be scared, sort of. So it depends on the acting. Here, it's like when a scene is supposed to be in pitch blackness, but we can still see the characters and like the setting around them. It's like that. They give us a purple sort of cloud that never changes.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to stand in for the void.
Yeah. And I guess it could be some kind of edge to the void. I don't know if it's like they feel like there's some kind of hole. Yeah.
I almost would have preferred just sort of a pixelated mess, as if like the void itself is messing with their sensors somewhat. But yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
That's part of directing, deciding how to deploy darkness.
Yeah, but I think that it's just an inherent trouble with this kind of concept is that, we want to have something where there's nothing there. And it's like, that is not that interesting. Maybe they should have just done something else and said, there's something there,
Yeah, there's no energy of any kind. Riker says, yet this hole has a form data. It has height, width.
Perhaps. Perhaps not, sir.
It's like so annoying. Picard is like, that's hardly a scientific observation, Commander. He's really annoyed. And so this brings my note. Nobody thinks to bring up the guy who's perfectly suited for this sort of thing, which is Geordi. He has this visor, which can supposedly see stuff Data can't see. And even the ship, I think. But yeah, we don't bring him up yet.
Yeah, he's not really, doesn't do anything almost. He has like 2 lines or something, I feel like.
Yeah, he comes up to the bridge, then he goes back down to engineering.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to it.
He has like one thing where it's like, yeah, we killed them, with the Romulans. I'm like, oh, bloodthirsty.
Yeah, so Data's like, we've never seen anything like this before, essentially. And I'm like, wasn't Armus exactly like this?
Which one was Armus?
So in Skin of Evil, he was the skin of evil that had turned into a oil slick or whatever.
Yeah.
And in that, I remember Data saying, like, he has no form or energy. Now, we never confirmed whether that was a sensor problem or if he's really like that. But at least somebody should have been like, well, it's a little similar to Armus. And then they'd check in with Deanna Troi, who would say, I feel nothing, sir. Not the absence of good, but like nothing at all. But yeah, we don't refer to other episodes in this program. Let's see. Wesley says maybe we can, I don't have the exact quote, but we could see behind it to help map it. So they head closer. Picard gives him a little shoulder pat, which I thought was cute. Worf is convinced that this is an enemy. Picard asks him to explain. Because it devours the probe without incident. And Picard asks him to explain. So Worf says it's an old Klingon legend.
My thoughts were of an old Klingon legend. A gigantic black space creature which was said to devour entire vessels.
I love that they have legends from their spacefaring age. How long have they been in space?
Gosh, that's a great question.
Or is it like pre-spacefaring age and it's like our sci-fi? You know, they were like, he's like, I watched this movie, you know, that was like, yeah, their version of Star Trek, and there was this alien that devoured ships.
So apparently it's like 1,500 years earlier they got space travel. But because of the way Klingons do things, they like don't care much about advancing science, like once they're out there. So their ships have kind of stayed the same for a long time. It's actually, I don't think, been determined how they got that tech. So like, did a ship crash land on their planet and they built out from there, or yeah, it's unclear.
Yeah, but 1,500 years, that's plenty of time for legends.
Right, yeah. Typically, though, the thing about legends is that they come from a time before we have access to all that written text.
Yeah. But it could be an urban legend.
Right. I mean, we got fairies. People believed in fairies until recently. Some still do. Yeah. So I guess it makes sense.
Also, if it's like 1,500 years, that's so long for these kind of written records and stuff. I could imagine file formats changing and people being just like, oh, we can't even read this anymore, and then it's like throw them away.
Yeah, they're like, this is old news.
Yeah.
But Worf. So here we come again to Worf's outsider nature. He's been away from his Klingon people, so he just like soaks in every knowledge about Klingons, right? So even your average Klingon might be like, space vessel eating monster, give me a break. But he's like taking it very seriously.
I love that the idea that maybe there was some kind of movie or something he watched as a child, and then he just like absorb this.
It's like Klingon Clash of Titans.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, the Kraken, that was a real thing.
But this is what I feel should have been the B plot, and they didn't really do anything about with it, or not like a proper plot. There should have been something where he's like, okay, this is something I have to deal with and make some kind of decision or something.
Okay, so here's my quick rewrite on that point is the fake Romulan ship is destroyed, right? So they go in to inspect the debris. Then they find a disabled Klingon ship, right? So Riker and Worf go onto this disabled Klingon ship. They look at some consoles. They hear about Klingon stuff. Maybe it's 1,000 years old, you know, like now we're talking Worf and his like heritage. Maybe some scrubby old Klingons come at him and he gets his back up. Some of that stuff is done, right? Like him yelling at a door and all that.
Yeah.
but it could have involved that stuff more.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I agree. If they were exploring some kind of other ship, that's cool.
Instead, they didn't want to build a new set, so they just did it on the Enterprise. Oh, excuse me, the Yamato.
Yeah. That's true. I feel also that's the main reason.
Cliffhanger moment. The comms break down right before the commercial. We come back from the commercial, immediately solved. This is where we get that as you know, Captain moment where they talk about maps and here there be dragons. I don't know. Maybe that's more interesting to international viewers or my dad was a sailor, so I probably would have seen more of that stuff.
Yeah, but I was okay with it. I think that, but it depends on. I can totally see feeling like it's too obvious, but I think that it's hard when you have to reference something that is generally known, but also has to feel new for the characters.
Right. And it's totally germane to what's happening, right? Like, nobody on the ship has any context for this thing. So, of course, it, like, makes sense. Turns out there's a turbo lift right next to the captain's ready room. I've never noticed this before. I think there's like 3 or 4 on the bridge. No, but that still doesn't explain why the captain came out of his room and like looked around all weird. But Dr. Pulaski rolls in. She takes a look. Nobody invited her. I don't know what made her come here. Maybe during the commercial he called her up.
Yeah.
And then she starts doing stuff that they should have already done, which is like enhance 1,000 times or whatever. We get some weird androidism here where she calls Data it.
Yeah. I was like, this is not Murderbot. You have to change.
This felt so much like a grandmother dealing with a trans relative. Like, I'm just trying to make sense of it. To me, you're just a robot. I have a note here. Might we have moved into another dimension? And then Dr. Pulaski says, that's an interesting question, to something I think Wesley says. My note there is, really useful, Doctor. This is a thing people say when they like don't know what to say and they're just killing time. Yeah. So Picard's like, fuck this. Let's go back. We're going to go to the Cornelian star system.
It's very confident that they can leave, but it seems overconfident.
Oh, that was the bit where Data's like, hey, let's get into the science. And Picard's like, I don't have time for this shit. Let's get out of here. And so Wesley starts flying the ship. And this is when Riker comes up to him and he's like tapping his leg. He's nervous. And because the void cloud or whatever it is isn't moving, he's like, our engines have engaged, haven't they, Ensign? I just realized he called him Ensign, but he's an acting ensign.
Oh.
but you wouldn't say acting because that's just rude.
Maybe it takes too long.
Yeah. So this is when we go down to engineering, and Geordi is so relaxed. Like, is this how he is all the time? Just unless he knows there's a crisis? Like, nobody bothered to tell him, hey, man, we're stuck in a void. We're not moving. I was like, did his shift just start? He needs some coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that in general, you know, when they're stuck. How does the rest of the ship? Like, because, like you said, it doesn't seem like they have notified people until it becomes relevant. So I wonder if the rest of the people are just like, do, and then it's like, I wonder what's going on.
I would love a shot of people checking their email, and they're like, do you know what's happening? What's going on outside the window? There's no stars. What is this? Apparently, they've traveled 1.4 parsecs farther than they had been when they, quote, entered this void. And this is when Geordi comes up onto the bridge. So I guess he wanted to get a look. I wish he said something like, you didn't bother to bring me up when we were outside the thing? When I could have actually done something?
Yeah.
And this is where Wesley's like, oh, let's do a beacon drop. You know, it's like writing a mark on a wall in a maze and then going away from it. And we get a classic in the mouth of madness moment where you're driving towards the sign that says, thank you for visiting Sutter's Mill. And then it's dark. And so then all of a sudden you're coming back and it says, there's the sign again. That is from that movie. I'm sure it's from something earlier, but I don't have the reference.
Yeah, that's the second beacon. Or because first they send the... No, wait, now maybe
the probe. They never see the probe again.
Yeah.
They have no idea what happened to it. This is just like a little...
Yeah, that's true.
Light.
Now they're in the... Because the thing is they sent 2 beacons. So... no, they sent 2 probes, I mean. And both disappeared. Right. But yeah, this is the beacon that they tried to go away from.
Yeah, and I'm sure I've seen this trick in other horror movies. Oh, I just watched It, Welcome to Derry, and in one of those episodes, they're leaving town, and then suddenly they're back. Yeah, it's sort of an MC Escher thing. So Wesley says, it can't be. And I'm like, dude, you're on Star Trek. It is happening. Deal with it. So I think maybe that's supposed to mean, like, could this be a simulation? Or could it be a mind games or whatever? Worf says sensors, like a Vulcan. That was fun.
Sensors indicated disturbance in Sector 108.
And then they discover a ship with a cloaking device. It's a Romulan. They get into a little dust up.
Yeah, that's when it, when we talked about things being like kind of slow, and then it's just like, battle, and then it's over.
Right, yeah, it goes from hardly anything's happening to like,
Yeah.
big time. And like usually when something hits their shields that hard, they're like, shields down to 60%. We've got some damage down in engineering or whatever. Like power relays have gone, but none of that happens. Dr. Pulaski says, I'll head back to my duty station. To which I'm like, where is your duty station, doctor? Like, is it sick bay?
Yeah, I think so. In medical, if someone needs it.
Very
during
odd.
the battle. But it's also when they, but that's later, I guess, when they blow up the ship. There's no debris.
Yeah. Yeah, so it fires, and then it blows up. Easy peasy. Picard says, oh, that was too easy. Next, a version of the Enterprise shows up. Turns out it's their sister ship, the Yamato. Wesley says the Yamato's nowhere near this quadrant. So they call it. They can't figure out what's going on. Riker wants to head over there.
I feel like they're very fast at doing action, but that makes sense in the TV show. But I would be like, let's talk a little bit, think a little bit about this. There was no debris. What does that mean?
Right. Yeah. In another episode, we'd be getting into some of this stuff. I'm sure there's some tension with making a horror. Like you don't want to spend too much time in the nitty gritty details. You want it to feel a little claustrophobic or scary or whatever. But if that was their intention, they didn't quite get there either.
Yeah, I think maybe it wasn't there was not enough danger to force them into action. There's no reason for them to hurry here. It's much better to be cautious, but also that's boring,
Imagine if the Yamato was like slightly off kilter, right? Like it was filmed sort of like at a weird angle, and like most of the lights were out. So when they beam over there, like most of the lights are out, so it's spooky and like, but instead it's like, what if normal ship but no people?
Yeah.
I guess it's a kind of spooky, but it's not.
It was a little spooky with the screaming. I think it would have been cool if they kept the screaming just in the background, like, ah!
Right, yeah.
That would have been creepy.
Yeah, well, they kind of screwed themselves there because they tricked themselves, or they chose to have them hear each other rather than a random person.
Yeah.
Because they'd run to help a random person too, so I don't know, maybe they didn't want to pay another extra.
Yeah, I guess maybe it would have also been too distracting if they had screaming, because I was thinking that they would just be thinking that, okay, it's not real, but it could be that they try to run and help the person, and then they would not have time to explore anything.
My headcanon is that Nagilum doesn't actually know that they would care about another person. That maybe these two guys care about each other, so making them worried for each other is like the most logical choice.
Yeah. And maybe
causes the most fear.
Yeah, and maybe just to check if they do, or if it's just like, will they run towards each other or away from each other, to see, A little bit
Yeah,
present.
this reminds me of the original series episode, which is probably better, called The Spectre of the Gun, where a similar entity doesn't quite understand humans and violence and all that, so it keeps poking them with like scarier and scarier events. Chekhov gets murdered. I mean, right there you have like a handsome, charming, like interesting guy. I'm pretty sure that's not his first episode, but even if it is, we learn like some stuff about his character. Here, Wesley randomly goes off shift and is replaced by a guy we've never met before. We never learn his last name, although according to the credits, it's Haskell. Weirdest fucking choice.
Yeah.
So the guys get split up. Classic horror movie shit. I was like, at first I was like, shouldn't Troy and Geordi go with them? Again, visor, mind powers. Like, surely this is the perfect mission for those two. Nope, they're not going. But because it's just two guys, it's a little more claustrophobic. But Riker waits to check in. I would be like, immediately, Captain, some sci-fi shit is happening.
Yeah.
Recommend we return to the bridge and like, or send some more people over.
Yeah, I agree. Also, it's always funny to me when they go without space suits. This show hates spacesuits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many reasons. Number one, they're expensive. They're on a budget. Number two, the show has precedent. The shows almost never use spacesuits until the movies. With the original series cast, there's a few spacesuit scenes. But it also makes them slower. You can't see their face as well, and they pay these actors for their lovely faces.
Yeah, but it could have had spacesuits with the helmet off or something where it's like, I'm ready. But yeah, I mean, I can understand. It just seems very weird. I'm like, are you even in space? You know, is this...
There's this great animated series episode where they have little belt devices that give them oxygen and like a kind of little field.
Yeah, that would work. Absolutely. I think because they have... No, wait, maybe I'm thinking they have shields and stuff, so they could have some kind of human shield that you don't see. I would buy that.
Yeah, we get more of this in modern Trek where they have CGI to like be fields or spacesuits that like nano return into their uniform or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I would be fine with the invisible spacesuit. Like that, I would rather have that than they have nothing. Maybe I can pretend that they're having an invisible one.
Or here's a crazy idea. Data says the atmosphere aboard the Yamato is exactly the same as ours. You should be fine without a suit.
Yeah, that would be a little better, but I think that they don't know anything about this. They should have spacesuits anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Work and Riker hear each other screaming. They find each other. Comms are getting scratchy. Weird time for a shift change. Like I said, Wesley's suddenly gone. Here's Haskell. He looks really sweaty, as if he knows, like, or like he came right out of the gym. Like, did Wesley get diarrhea? Like, what happened?
Yeah. If he hadn't died, I would have been, like, fine with the switch. Because I think I don't know, it's just kind of, it can add a little bit of suspense, I suppose. Because you don't know, like, who is this person? How are they gonna act?
Yeah. So if I give them credit, I could say, oh, maybe this is supposed to make us wonder, like, did the entity change reality? Has Wesley become Haskell? Or has he taken Wesley somewhere and nobody remembers that Wesley exists? Nope, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So Riker and Worf head to the bridge. Down in back on the Enterprise, Geordi can't reach engineering, so he heads back down there. So that's Geordi taken care of.
And they have some kind of general electricity problem. It seems like they go into some kind of backup mode.
Right. So it seems like the entity can make their systems work or not work at will. So back on the Yamato, it's clear that it isn't actually the Yamato. It's made of materials they've never seen. The bridge is in the wrong place. It should be 4x up. And this gets to Riker and Worf just being like, what the hell is going on here? Like over and over again. That's not where we came from. 2 bridges.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought they were going to go into a who's on first routine.
I don't know what that is.
It didn't happen. Oh, God. Okay, Google after we're done here. Who's on first? It's, I want to say an Abbott and Costello routine. It may be Laurel and Hardy. Oh, it is Abbott and Costello. From the early talkies period. Whatever that was, 30s maybe.
I don't know. He's on third, and I don't care.
What was that?
I said, I don't care.
Oh, that's a shortstop.
Once again, I write, where the hell are Troy and Wesley? We're back on the Enterprise. This pilot guy says, I have a star fix. They have a chance to flee, but it would mean abandoning Riker and Worf, so Picard vetoes that idea. So this begins my theory that Haskell never existed. That Nagilum put him on the bridge purely as a sacrifice to fuck with the bridge members. I imagine he implanted memories so that they would give a shit that Haskell dies. The only other thing is a production reason. Maybe Wesley tried to perform death and he was so bad at it that they just, or it was so upsetting because he's a child that they like swapped him out.
Yeah, that could be, because it does seem weird that they just like remove Wesley for no reason. But then you think that they would have he would have been what do you call it? Like emanated? No, I can't say it. You know, like if he died, he would have been like brought
right,
back.
Of course. At the end, Nagilum's like, "Hey, just kidding. I didn't actually kill Wesley. Here he is." Now that gets into Q territory, where like he can reverse death, which almost would make Nagilum more sympathetic, maybe. So maybe we have to have a death.
Yeah, I think so. It would have been kind of weird if everything was like, it does seem like it's a little bit more cruel than we've seen before.
Yeah. But on a production level, I would just say put Wesley in engineering then. Like, don't do this to us. This is too confusing. So Worf goes to the new bridge, because, right, there's 2 bridges.
Yeah.
He returns out the other side, another in the mouth of madness MC Escher moment, and he starts losing it Klingon style. He's growling. This is impossible! Impossible!
It's impossible! Impossible!
Pull yourself together.
And this is either the first example or the fifth, I don't know which, of Worf hating doors. He has a legendary like fury when it comes to doors.
Maybe Klingons doesn't have doors.
And then he goes, "At ease, Lieutenant, at ease," and walks away as if he's doing Riker's job for him. It was very odd.
Yeah, it's like speaking to himself in third person. But this is what I feel like they should have done something more with, because it almost feels like it's some kind of B plot. But that's the resolution. There's nothing else after this, right? That is connected to
Right.
one.
Yeah, and if you're going to set up like a conflict between Worf and Riker, fucking have the conflict. You know? Have him punch Riker or like throw him down or rush past him and hit him with his shoulder or something rather than he talks himself down the ledge. He wasn't able to do that earlier.
Yeah, but I don't think that there really was a conflict. I mean, because he wasn't mad at Riker for anything. If it was only his own personal aggression problem, I guess. But then, like, have something connected to that. You know, he's afraid of this ship because it reminds him of this legend. But could he then overcome the fear somehow? You know, or kind of like
have an arc,
reason about it.
Character arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they try to tractor the Yamato and then go because all of a sudden there's some stars that they could try to escape through. And the pilot's like, "Let's go, Captain." And Picard says, "No." Over comms, Miles O'Brien says to Riker and Worf, "We're bringing you home." Back up to the bridge. The pilot's really worked up. And then Riker gets to the bridge. He goes, "What the hell is going on?"
What the hell is going on?
And he like goes on a little mini rant. Like, "We should figure out what the hell's going on and get out of here."
Yeah.
And weirdly, Picard, oh my God, there is a hilarious shot I just paused on. I gotta get a shot of this and show you because it is incredible. I hope I can snag it. Oh, I have hardware acceleration. I'll have to send it to you afterwards. But yeah, Riker just looks up at the ceiling like, "Oh, fuck, here we go again." And Picard had this weird look on his face like he's pleased that Riker is losing it. Very strange. So after the commercial, Riker is still upset. The star fixes back. They head towards it. Is that when he talks to Riker? I mean, when Picard talks to Troy?
I'm not sure. I didn't put any notes to that part.
So basically she says something like, "Maybe I didn't notice it because it's a consciousness higher than I've ever considered. Like we're inside its reality sort of thing. So if everything around you is the consciousness, maybe you could miss it."
I wasn't sure if this was
I
wasn't sure if this was a realization or if she was more thinking about this as maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah. So Dr. Pulaski says we're rats in a maze. She thinks they're in a lab experiment, and Picard is shaken. Once again, the pilot says, "Let's go again." Picard says, "Hold." And Troy says something to the effect of like, "Don't give it anything. Like whatever it is, it clearly wants us to like react."
Yeah.
And it shows them a more or less human face.
Looks like a space lizard.
Yeah. And Geordi gives some weird speciesism. He's like, "Sure is a damned ugly nothing."
Sure is a damned ugly nothing.
Yeah.
I believe we call this a high ceiling moment. Like Picard isn't like, "Stay off the fucking call, Geordi."
Yeah, that's
Keep your
true.
comments to yourself.
No,
like in the middle of a
commentary.
diplomatic conference, you're just like talking shit.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also a little bit unclear about the, microphones. Like, can it hear everyone in the room? I think that it only picks up if you're sending. I feel like it's only sending from certain people, but that's pretty unclear in the layout of it.
If I can just talk shit for a second, this being is so powerful, it can either make a face in space bigger than a starship, or it can, like, I don't know, come through the view screen with some sort of an illusion. Maybe Geordi shouldn't be talking shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Maybe
agree.
Geordi's the reason Haskell is dead. You ever think about that?
Probably. Yeah, I do always love the trope when it's just like, doesn't understand, proper human. Yeah, like, it's funny that it's just like, oh, I have made myself look exactly like you. And it's like, no, not really.
Yeah, so I guess Geordi is giving us that. Yeah. I might have taken those lines out and kept the read, like
Yeah,
the vibe, but
I
taking
agree.
the actual lines out, just like put it on his face, maybe.
Yeah, it does seem stupid, but it could also be a little bit of this kind of antagonism, like, fuck you for trapping us here. But also inappropriate.
Oh, yes, of course.
I think if it was just a random alien that popped up, I don't think that Geordi would comment, like, in a rude way.
Gotcha. So he's interested that Data's different from them, and then he's interested in Dr. Pulaski, who apparently is the only woman on the bridge.
Which is not
even though there's other people back there, but whatever.
Yeah, but she's dancing weirdly. Is this something that he made her do, or is she just like running around? Or my theory was like maybe she's some kind of android, That's why she was so against Data, because she's also secretly some kind of non-human.
The lady doth protest too much.
Yeah.
For me, it was even grosser, which was he was like studying her anatomy with his mind fingers. And she was reacting in a horrified fashion to those feelings, which is why she looks so scared and like leans up against the wall.
Yeah, that would be scary.
And then this weird line break where she says she's a female, and then Picard goes, "It is the way in which we propagate our species." It's like, well, that's a weird jump.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, we have two sexes, but like, one doesn't necessarily, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I get it, but I don't.
It did seem kind of a weird, of all the different questions it could have, that would be the first thing. I think that's more interesting for humans than it is for an alien. I don't think they would be like, oh, these are clearly very different. It makes more sense that it would be interested in Data, but I think that wouldn't it also be interested in Worf? Because Worf is not a human. I think that would be the second point then.
Absolutely. Now, in modern Trek, we'd have multiple aliens on the bridge, or at least two, I would think. And more than one woman. So,
but Troy was there, wasn't
be a little
she?
Different.
Did
You
she
are
leave?
absolutely right. What the fuck? It's like she disappears. I see her over Picard's shoulder here in this shot. Like, absolute insanity.
Maybe it doesn't want to. And by the way, she
also
is also
an alien,
part
by the way.
alien, yeah.
Yeah, half alien.
Yeah.
So Picard's like, whatever you are, your actions are not welcome. So it seems to want to know more about death. Apparently he's never met a non-immortal. So he kills Haskell.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's also weird, but I guess we don't know anything about him. But it seems so strange that he would be like, what is death? And it's like, you're in the universe. Like, have you never encountered anyone?
Maybe he's just now arriving in our universe.
Yeah, that could.
And the
that
Enterprise just happened to be close enough to notice.
I guess it just seemed a little bit like it seemed like he was so powerful, and the idea that he would just be like flummoxed by this very common thing in this universe. But yeah, it could just been, like you said, it just happens to be connected somehow to this universe.
Yeah, like maybe he just hasn't come across a ship or a planet or a civilization yet, and this is his first. Or he could be lying. Like, he could be an armist. We have no idea.
That's true. I like that idea that he's lying.
So he kills Haskell, and I wrote, this would have so much more impact if it was Wesley. And by putting Wesley in the chair earlier, we don't get a chance to know this guy. Right? This caused me to think, was he even real? Did they try to film this with Wesley and Wheaton wasn't good enough, or it was too scary? Yeah, all that.
Yeah. I think that the doctor should have been killed. I don't like her. She's annoying.
That's a very common opinion that you just had there.
But then, because wouldn't that be more satisfying? Because she's not really a character that we care about, because she's only been in 2 episodes, But still, it's unexpected because we think that she is a new regular. So that would be a good sacrifice instead of this red shirt guy.
Yeah, the more I think about this, the more I think it was written for Wesley. And maybe when he signed back on to do season 2, they're like, ooh, quick rewrite. He had to go to the bathroom, bring this other guy on.
Yeah, that could be. They should have kept like one of the other characters then around. Maybe Dr. Crusher could have died.
So Picard says, we cannot allow you to do that. We will fight you. And this is when Nagilum says, well, I'll need to kill a third of you, maybe a half, to really understand death. So we go to commercial. We come back. Captain's log. Whatever we have met sees no value in our kind of life form. For what it's worth, I thought that guy did a good job with his death.
Yeah, that was scary.
Worf says this crazy shit. He's like, survival allows that number of deaths, if necessary. Picard's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Worf?
In a battle for survival, Captain, 30 to 50% casualties
would be appalling.
but within acceptable limits.
They're pretty convinced it's a lab experiment. Data says it's willing and able to kill all those people. And Picard says that leaves us only one option. We have to destroy the ship. And the doctor goes, isn't that a little like curing the disease by killing the patient? I love this moment where Picard doesn't answer her. I love this in shows where, like, you have to think for the character that asked the question.
Yeah, but do you think that this is the right choice?
In Star Trek, it's the only choice, right? This thing has clearly made itself our enemy. If it knows more about humans, maybe it will get like a hard-on for killing humans and then want to kill more of them. Let's just nip that in the bud and not give it that data if we can avoid it. This thing is so powerful, though, that yeah.
But do you think it was a tactical decision? I guess that makes sense if it was, like you said. But is it like this kind of thing, like...
It was a tactical decision and it did pay off. The thing finally was like, oh, if they're going to kill themselves, this is boring. Let's just move on with my day.
Oh, okay. So you think it was also a hope that maybe if we do, what would you call it? Like almost like some kind of chicken race, but you're the only one racing.
Right. Yeah. And in that scene when the fake Troy is talking to him, she's like, I don't think this ploy will work. She's this thing lying. So it sounds like maybe it did work.
Yeah.
So in engineering, Picard and Riker set the self-destruct. They have this cute little chat about like, what's the right time for the crew? They set it for 20 minutes. Does
the crew know? Or like does the families and stuff know? Or is it just like, I don't know. That's also confusing to me. How much people know what's going on.
I think in the modern show, the captain would have given a speech or sent out an email or something. We skip all that.
Yeah, I think, it does seem...
Oh, they would have cut around the ship, too, so we see how people are reacting to the news.
Yeah, I think that they are maybe losing a little bit of that setting, because the idea is that this thing that you have the families and all these civilians on board, and I feel like they are not really using that in the stories in general.
Right.
Which makes sense, because it would be hard to just, like, cut to these random people, but... Wouldn't it be like very common that people would like be very upset about different things that are happening, and maybe
how
some
about
people
we cut to the fucking preschool?
Yeah,
where that kindergarten
puppies?
Teacher or whatever was, with the puppies. We cut over there, and the kids are cowering, and their parents come to like sit with them or take them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somebody in the bar, they're like glass shaking. Maybe Guinan puts her hand on somebody's shoulder,
Yeah, that would make sense. They could have that bar that we had in the previous episode.
Yes.
Or that's what you meant, right?
Was it 10 forward or was it like a holodeck bar?
It was like this kind of... I felt like it was in the end of the ship, or, like it had these big windows that you could look out.
Yeah, that's 10 forward. That's like their designated bar place.
I don't know how about the crew quarters, how much of them have even windows, because considering how big the volume is of the ship, I feel like most of it would be interior, and there would not be a lot of windows out.
I believe if you look at the model, there's tons of windows. I believe they put most of the crew quarters on the outside skin of the ship so that most people get a window. That's sort of why it's shaped the way it is, with like so much surface area rather than like a square or something.
And I guess they could have the windows, they could have the artificial gravity switched probably, so that each window is facing to the side, even if it's like more upwards.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Or like with camera trickery, the window is cockeyed, but the view comes through a camera or something.
Yeah, that could happen. Or they have ceiling windows, certain rooms.
So in the conference room, Worf says survival allows those numbers. Doctor wants to... down in engineering. I wrote for a horror story, the lighting is pretty dull.
That's true.
We go to Picard's room and he's just sitting there. He's not drinking. He's not reading.
No,
he's not sending a letter.
So depressing to end your life like that.
He's just staring off into space.
He was listening to music, but it was kind of boring.
Oh, he was?
music.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something. I don't even want to know what I'd be up to. So Troy knocks, he lets her in, and she says the creature doesn't care that they're destroying themselves. She suggests that the tactic may be wrong. Data comes in, and he's like, wants to understand death. And I'm like, come on. Like, is this really how Data would do it?
I actually didn't think about them being this, what is his name? Nagilum? Nagilum. I didn't think that this was Nagilum, but I thought that maybe Data thought that Nagilum would like this question. So that's why he came, and he was like, oh, tell me about death, to see if that would make it happy.
Oh, I like that. Nope, turns out it was just a fake Data.
Yeah, I do like that. That's my favorite part of the episode, because that's the one thing that was a little bit more, like character-based.
Right. Yeah, so a lot of people love Picard's speech here. Like, some people believe in the Garden of Eden. Other people believe in nothingness. I think maybe consciousness is too vast for us to comprehend, and there's more besides or whatever. He says something about how it can't be measured. And then Troy calls him Jean-Luc. Would never happen. So does Data. Absurd. And she wants to live. And they say Picard is wrong.
To me, it wasn't until when she said that she wanted to live, then I was like, wait, what is this? Before that,
aren't you a Starfleet? Like, that's, yeah, you follow orders. You're like 5 minutes from death. Like, is that really how you would say that?
Yeah. And I think it would have made more sense, like, when she was talking about, like, we shouldn't sacrifice all these people. I think if you were talking about it in a more general sense about all the different people, then it could have made sense. But when she was saying, like, oh, I don't want to die, then it seemed like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So Picard says, neither of you should be reacting in this way. And then he goes, it's not going to work, Nagilum.
I wonder if, you were complaining about Wesley earlier, and I wonder if that is meant to be a sort of a scale. How much do you change your expectations? Because Picard is able to, in this sense, like, oh, these are probably fake people planted by this entity, even though that's not like something that occurs. Like, it has happened, I don't know, I'm trying to think if this has happened specifically like this ever. I don't think I've seen it in this specific way, like just people being totally created just in the space of the ship, right?
Right. I feel like there's a Voyager episode where we find out there was a person there the whole time that we never got to meet, but they were a real person and were scrubbed from everyone's memories.
Oh, that's weird.
So very different.
Yeah, but what I mean is that Wesley is just very much stuck on like, okay, this is the reality, this is my experience, while Picard is being more flexible and be like, maybe this is like some kind of fake thing, like and I think that maybe that's meant to be a contrast.
Okay, here's a quick rewrite. Picard's there having his final bum out with Data, right? Data's just sitting there comfortably with him. And then Troy arrives with Wesley, who is kind of freaking out. And together they all comfort Wesley until we realize that all three of them are fake. Maybe Wesley even is like, Haskell, I barely knew the guy. I went to take a shit and he died. That could have been me.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, I'm trying to think of if you could make this Haskell guy actually be a satisfying death, Maybe if there was some kind of like, maybe if there was something connected, like if he was a character that was somehow coming from this void place, he was in that other ship, for example.
Oh, like they find him on the Yamato?
Yeah, maybe there was another ship being taken into this void, because then he would be interesting, but it would also make sense that he's just like a new person that they don't know or care about. And then it would still be upsetting if he died. But the problem is then you don't really know if he's a real person or not. But maybe that would be okay.
Every change we make, right, in our fantasy rewrite changes something else in the episode, whether it's the focus or the pace or the stakes.
Yeah.
It's very strange. That's what makes me think it was a last-minute production decision.
Yeah.
Reacting to something that we don't see.
I think it makes sense that maybe it was a named character that was killed, because it does seem like it's very inserted,
Yeah. Honestly, if they're going to make him a real guy, I would like some recognition of his life at the end. Like, I don't know, maybe Picard, as he's having his death bum out, has like the guy's file on a pad and is like, maybe we catch a scene from his life.
Yeah.
His wedding or something.
Or even the scene is like him with his corpse, doing some kind of like funeral. Like we should have the funeral for him before we die or something.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I want to write this. Funeral for Haskell. This show is making me want to like do fan fiction. I was telling Sophia offline that something we talked about in the last episode I put out. Oh, We'll Always Have Paris. Something about that inspired me to write about a guy who's conducting a relationship over subspace, and then it ends, or like it gets strained or whatever. Yeah, that's coming along nicely. So back on the bridge, the team tells Picard that they're finally out of the void. Riker wants to abort the self-destruct. Picard comes out, tells Wesley to fly in a random direction, and he holds to the very last possible second. I feel like this would have hit better if Worf was in the background going 9, 8, 7. Right, none of that. And Riker's like, Captain? And finally they abort. And the computer's like, do you concur, Riker? And he's like, I do indeed concur wholeheartedly. And Picard goes, a simple yes would have sufficed, number one.
Simple yes would have sufficed, number one. I didn't want there to be any chance of misunderstanding. Of course. You have the bridge.
Very dramatic.
Yeah. And Nagilum is satisfied. Back in the ready room, it wants to talk to the captain, and he's like, I don't have time for this shit. It's just my favorite Picard mode. Like, why are we talking? This is pointless.
Yeah. And it can still talk even though they're outside the field, so I wonder how far the influence is.
Yeah, my thinking here is that Picard just doesn't want to have anything more to do with this dude. But this would be a perfect opportunity for him to go, hey, you killed one of my people and he's still dead. Maybe we could have a conversation if you would acknowledge that in any way.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe send some money to his family. I guess we're past money, but...
Send a nice card.
It's a sympathy card.
From the Gilliam.
Sorry I killed your son. So he starts reading Picard. He's like, either Picard or humanity, I guess, at the same time. He says, you seem to find no tranquility in anything, yet you value loyalty. He says humans are aggressive, right? But then he's talking about a single species. And the ship, as we've said already, has multiple species and life forms.
Yeah. But I think maybe he's not totally understanding what is a human and not. So maybe it's just like all of you humans, who have different gender and androids and stuff.
Yeah. It's almost like he's speaking to us, right? Like,
yeah.
Morally, humans, you're not ready for space. You're aggressive and conflicty. And then Picard's true. Like, yeah, let's meet again, but next time it will be out here among the stars. Which I'm like, yeah, where else would it be? But I think he doesn't want him to visit any planets or spaceships. He's like, keep it around here. Like, don't go anywhere else because you're fucked up.
Or it's like he doesn't want to go into its black hole thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. But still, though, this guy should not visit any other
No, I
areas.
mean, they should probably be like, let's never meet again. Bye.
And Riker's like, let's go. And Ensign, if you encounter any holes, steer clear. And Wesley's got his classic Wesley smile. And it's like, bro, your sub just got murdered.
Yeah, you're right. It seems a little bit too inconsequential.
The seat's still warm from his dying corpse.
Yeah, where did they put the corpse? Was it on the floor before?
They just put him up against the wall.
Yeah.
That'd be so great if Picard was like, Troy, can you do something with that?
I was also thinking about it from a meta perspective. When we see this new actor, I was like, ooh, does this actor get to speak? Because I thought maybe it would just be like in, the background. And I know that, it's better to have a speaking role. So when he got to speak, I was like, yay! But then he died. But maybe that's better, if you're going to be in one episode, it's more fun to die, right?
Oh, for sure. If you're not going to get a recurring role, for sure. Yeah, let's pour one out for old Haskell. He did his best. Assuming he was even real.
Yeah, I wonder if this actor went if he was ever back in a day.
Yeah, I'd love to know his feelings. A lot of reviewers are like, "Oh, black actor murdered for no reason."
Yeah.
It's kind of a common trope, especially in horror movies, which this kind of was flirting with being.
Oh
yeah. So yeah. That's what keeps it one of the many reasons it's not quite a 5-star episode. Don't have time to get into any reviews, but I've seen a few, and yeah, they were mixed. This episode has a lot of great moments, but overall it's it's just so weird that it has the iconic moment of this guy being murdered in front of everybody, and then the Riker and Worf in that simulation, and then a whole lot of other stuff that I forgot. Oh, and Nagilam's creepy face.
I thought some of the fighting in the simulation was pretty good. I've been like, all of the fighting so far, I've been like, eh. But there was some of it that was like, kind of, I don't know how to describe fighting, but it was like a little bit believable, compared to other stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe they got a choreographer in to do the fight choreography.
Yeah.
Or whatever stuntmen they hired for this job were really good at throwing it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering if maybe they hired somebody new.
In the very end, when Worf was fighting, like when they were more, not fighting with the weapons as much. You know, he was like stomping in behind on the knee and stuff, and that looked good. But I also, one thing that I forgot to mention was that I thought that Worf looked different this episode. Maybe he looks different this season compared to the first season. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, like maybe his hair was shorter.
Yeah, I think so. Or something like maybe it was moved a little bit, like the hair compared to the face.
Well, in that first scene, I believe his hair is kind of messy.
Ah.
Because they've been in the simulation for a while. That makes it look a little different.
Yeah, that might be it.
He's immediately tidied up when he's back on the bridge.
I felt like it looked different after as well, but maybe I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll do a comparison when we're done here. Yeah, once again, Worf is the standout in this one, I think. Either that or Haskell. Should probably give it to Haskell out of respect.
I don't know. I feel like that's too much credit to the writing. It feels like, oh, Haskell had such a great role.
He died well.
Yeah, that's true. Is that the thing? Like, if someone dies, they get automatically?
Not always. Some characters are very bad at dying on screen. Actors, I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then he can get it because he's like, you said, he was the good death scene.
All right. Recommendations? Anything ringing your bell?
I don't think I have anything new. I feel bad. I've just been trying to listen to a lot of audiobook because I got this subscription. And I haven't really finished a lot of things. I started Termination Shock by Neil Stephenson. And first, I really liked it. You know, I was like, wow, this is so cool. It was like such weird mix of things. It was like this guy who was hunting feral hogs, and there was this other queen of the Netherlands that was doing some kind of plot. But then, as I got into it, like a third into it, it's really stalled. They're just talking about sulfur and like different mechanics of rockets, and I even like this kind of stuff, and I'm just bored. So
no.
I'm even like an engineer. I should be the target, but maybe it's better as a written book, you know, because when you listen to an audiobook, you're stuck in the same speed, you know. If you're reading, you can maybe like skip a few paragraphs if you feel it's too much about sulfur. But
I mean, you could turn up the speed during those sections, but it's a little annoying.
I did turn it up a bit, but it would be hard if it's too fast. But yeah, maybe I should just sulfur. Yeah.
What was that called?
It's called Termination Shock.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my medium recommendation.
And mine is a podcast. It's called Kill James Bond. Some or all of the hosts are trans or non-binary. It's very leftist. James Bond is a misogynistic piece of shit, colonialist, right? So they tackle all of those movies, and then they just kept going. So they've got, 250 episodes. I'm excited to dig into some of those.
Is it like reviews, or like what? In which way, or do they actually talk about like how they should kill James Bond in different movies?
I don't know. I haven't. The one I heard was sort of a one-off that's different from the regular format, but I will check back in and find out if they do it more like us, or if they range all over the place and don't care too much about the plot. In this one, they were all drunk and they were like going back to a movie they'd already covered. So who knows?
You know, speaking about James Bond, I don't know if I've mentioned this podcast, but I think that the film reroll is really funny when they do role playing based on different movies. And I listened to one recently when they were doing one of the Bond movies, and so everybody gets like a character from the movie, and then they have the objective where they're supposed to try to play out the movie, but if they fail, then in the roles and stuff, then the movie goes different. So that's I think it's very funny, and it's like a lot of improv. So maybe if you like the Kill Bond thing, maybe the concept, this will also appeal with the weird Bond
Yeah, it looks like their last 3 episodes have been about For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah.
Which, if I remember correctly, is a Roger Moore?
It could be. I don't think I've seen that one, actually, even though I did see a lot of Roger Moore. Channel 4 had a lot of Bond when I was a teenager.
Man, he's so cheesy.
Yeah. My favorite Bond is the one where it's like, what is it called now? No, I forgot it. It's the one with all the voodoo stuff. It's very weird.
Oh, that's a Roger Moore, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I think
It is.
In,
I want to say
Louisiana.
I wanted to call it Live and Let Die, but I don't know if that is correct. But that one is really funny because it's so over the top. And I do love like tarot cards, and they have a lot of tarot cards in that one. It's always fun.
Fun. Cool. Yeah, so the Film Reroll podcast, that's a good rec. I tried that years ago. I'll give it another listen. Also, I've been rereading for Christmas, because part of it takes place at Christmas, is Blackout and All Clear by Connie Willis. It's time-traveling historians, and a bunch of them go back to World War II at different points, and their timelines kind of intersect. It's really cool. It's sort of like a bit of screwball comedy and then like really heavy drama. Connie Willis has a gift for like shifting between different tones. And yeah, it's a lot of fun time travel story. So if you haven't read her Time Traveling Historians series, check that out. All right. Well, that should do it. Thank you, Sophia. Another excellent episode. Do you want to keep doing this season of Trek, or
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. We'll
have
come
to know,
back for the
let
next
me know
one.
which one. Oh, okay, we're doing the third one, or do you have any knowledge about which?
Data plays Sherlock Holmes. It's called Elementary Dear Data.
Mm-hmm.
It might be terrible, I don't remember, but it is interesting that Data plays Sherlock Holmes. Have we seen one of those yet?
No, we have only seen the one where Picard plays some kind of detective, but it's not Sherlock Holmes.
Dixon Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I think we have to do Data as Sherlock.
Yeah.
Elementary Dear Data. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Sophia, for joining us. Remember, tell your friends and family that we exist. Listen to all our other things and watch along with us or read along with us. From the Vor Game and Piranesi to, what have we done last? The Neverending Story. I'm working on a Mary Poppins episode, Wicked, all kinds of other stuff. So, and check in. That's at greatandsecretknowledge@gmail.com or on Facebook. And yeah, if you want to reach Sophia, send us an email. And you can find me all over the place at El Jefe Tacoma. That should do it. Thank you, Sophia. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
2 bridges.
A huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.
Ship has 1 bridge. 1 bridge!